guys, it's Tanisha from Mommy and Me, back with another video. Sorry, I look like a bush baby today. It was wash day yesterday, so I'm super frizzy. But I want to jump straight in because I have a lot of material to cover. We are just going to hop into the grade 1 Abeka child kit. I'm going to give you a review of that so you can see all of the material and an inside peek of each one as well. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and remember to hit that subscribe button. All right, let's get on with the video. So this is the first grade math book. You can see it's a bit thick. I'm gonna walk you through it real quickly. So here, starts off pretty basic. And then as you go along, gets a little bit more intense. All right. That's pretty much how the math book goes. Then there is it's the only thing with having paper, guys. All right. Then we have the speed drill. So this goes with the math book, and these are just a test and speed drill. You do have an answer sheet for this, like an answer key book as a teacher, and I'll show that in the parent kit. So this is how a test would look. You have the written and oral grade. The things for the oral grade would be within the lesson plan book. So this is pretty much how a test would look. This is in the beginning, of course. There are these cool things called speed drills that they start in first grade. It's not for a grade. It's just basically to help that child with mental math. So you have about, give or take, 10 to 12 problems, and they just see how fast they can do it within a minute. And then here you write how much they got correct. That's it. It doesn't have to be for a grade. Of course, those as well gets more intense as you progress through the book. And that is pretty much the tests and speed drills. All right. Then we have our language 1. So this is basically focusing on grammar, creative writing, and reading comprehension. So again, starting off pretty simple. And they'll always have these little remember points so it can tell you what they're gonna be, what the exercise is pretty much about. They'll give you an example. And that's pretty much the end of that. Then we have our letters and sound, which is right here. Okay, so this is mainly our phonics. So they start from the beginning again. They focus a lot on the special sounds in first grade because, you know, they started spelling in first grade as well. So they did a lot of special sounds. So that was pretty much your phonics. Then for letters and sound, you also had letters and sounds test bank. So again, you would have your own answer key, of course, as the teacher, and it will tell you exactly what to say for these right here. And then the back for each test are all the same. You'll have oral phonics. Of course, the amount of words you read will get bigger, but you just want them to read one row across. I had her read all of the rows. And that's pretty much how the test would be. The spelling words, once they start the spelling, it'll actually be incorporated into the test. So here you have the spelling words. Normally they have about 10 to 15 spelling words. They're only gonna pick 6. And that's pretty much it. Your letters and sounds test. All right. Then we have the writing with phonics. All right. I do the cursive because I figured she's going to learn how to write script by default. So we still do the cursive. They start off here. You have the numbers and the vowels. It's just the lines. If you go back and check out my K5 video, you'll see that in that the lines were way bigger. So now in first grade, they're smaller. And if you look at my second grade unboxing that, you'll see the lines are even smaller. So as they go through the grades, they progress with the writing. Here you can see early on they're adding on the sentences compared to the K5 where you had a lot more in the beginning of just letters and words. All right. And then they actually start copying passages here. And it's just real nice to see like how they're just progressing through it all. Like when I go through and start packing up the last year's curriculum and I go through her just her work and what she's done so far, it makes me smile to see like, wow, she went from this to this and now she's moving on to this. And I'll show you guys that too, like how I pack the curriculum for the last school year, how I keep all my filing and paperwork together. Of course, just for, you know, legal purposes in case they want it. They do start creative writing as well in first grade. So they'll have prompts within the lesson plan, and you kind of will take, this is like a week-long activity where they'll start off with, you know, formulating a title, looking for facts, actually doing a rough draft, and after the first draft, doing a second draft, then putting it all together where they put it on the actual paper. So they have quite a few of those. And then at the end of the book are all the tests. So they are tests in handwriting and the lesson plan book for the teachers or us parents. They do have like little examples of how to grade writing, because that would be kind of hard to know like, okay, what exactly are we grading? But they show you different examples of kids' tests of how much things they got out of the line or how they're writing, what letter grade would that look like. As you can see, as you're moving forward, they're pretty much just copying. That's about it. All right, what is this? Oh, okay. Then we have our writing tablet. So the writing tablet is not, it's literally just a book filled with these type of paper. That's it. Because basically there is independent work that starts in first grade. And when that work starts, you would copy it. You would write it on a board, whether it's a chalkboard or a blackboard. And the child would copy it onto the writing tablet. As they copy it onto the writing tablet, that's extra practice for them. Here we have our spelling and poetry. So you see the spelling list, there's 30 spelling lists, and then you have the poetry of which poems you will be learning basically each month. So it starts off pretty simple with the words, and there's always activities to go along with it, as well as some type of spelling rule that they're following for that particular test. As you move along, you'll see that there's more words here. So that's the spelling for you. Then you have the poems that they'll pretty much memorize. And then there is homework at the back. So this is pretty much where they'll copy the list and they return the list part to you, but they keep the top part. So this is how they study for their test. keeping that spelling list. And I had made copies of all of these and give it to her, since I will be reusing this curriculum. All right, we have our health and safety manners reader. And this is just, you have the activity sheets for this that you can copy and give to them. That's more in the, I think it's in one of these books. Yeah, it's there. I'll show it to you guys. But yeah, so we have the health and safety manners reader. And it's just talking about your health, different things, getting enough rest. It's kind of like starting to introduce vocabulary words. So we did get a vocabulary book and started to like kind of write down the vocabulary words so she can get used to that. And it just talks about different basic stuff. Skin and hair care, your eyes, your teeth, you know, safety on the street, whether walking or riding your bike, things like that. And again, because I'm trying to preserve the curriculum, I would just make a copy of whatever the activities are. Like here, for example, I'll just give her a writing tablet paper and she would do that activity, just so I can keep the books in order. Because guys, this is the first grade curriculum that we have finished, and you see how it looks brand new? So I would like to keep it that way. These are the science reader. And science is like one of her favorite subjects, so she really enjoyed this. Just talks about different things. And in the lesson plan book, they give you like a bunch of different options of things you can do with your kid, like hands-on activities. They are hands-on activities in the book itself. Like here, it's talking about do wheels, make it easier to move things. So this is something to try. This is something to try. But there's additional hands-on activities that is presented within the lesson plan to basically coordinate with what they're teaching here. That's pretty much the science. And I really love how realistic their pictures are. It's like, it's so pretty. So this is pretty much science. Then we have My America, My World, which is a history reader. Pretty much set up the same way. You have your vocabulary on top and it's just going over certain things. The first half pretty much goes through different things about America. And then as we get to the second half of the book, it starts going through other countries. Canada, the Bahamas, Switzerland, France. Just kind of giving a brief, very brief overview of the other countries that are out there. And then last, we have our Community Helpers activity book. So this book here correlates with some cards that they have that I had from the K5. And it's just kind of going over your different community helpers. So you have firefighters, police officers. I did let her write in this book. I'm just going to order another book next time around for when he gets big enough and he's in first grade. But this was pretty much just talking about the different community helpers. All right. So last but not least, the longest thing ever is the reading curriculum. Now I think that's my favorite part of them is the reading curriculum. It does come with these mini alphabet flashcards. By the time, if you are like me and you have been with them since pretty much pre-K, you're gonna have like 5 packs of these because it comes every single time it comes with the reading. You have the primary Bible reader. This is not necessarily a book that you get through. We didn't get through this in first grade. And they're also using it in second grade. They just tell you what pages to read and when. So this is kind of like a book that you're going to use throughout the grades. You have the Handbook for Reading. This you're going to be using from 1st to 3rd grade because we did use this first grade. We're using it in second and clearly it's going to be in 3rd. So you will end up with more of these as well because they give you a new one for each curriculum set that you order. And it pretty much just goes through the different letters. Then it goes through the charts for the special sounds. So when you're actually doing the reading and the phonics, when you're doing the phonics book, it has the pages of what charts they want to do, what pages in this book they want you to read to kind of give examples of what they're doing within the workbook. And I really, really like this book. So there's that. Then in the, let's see how much it is. 2, 4, 6, 8. So there's 8 books. Technically 9 for first grade. The last one is Animals in the Great Outdoors. There's 2 different pacings for the reading. You have the regular pacing and you have the advanced pacing. Actually, I think it's 3. But you're going to see more of that in the parent kit when I show you the plan. The adventures, the Animals in the Great Outdoors, that last book, that is for the advanced pacing. We just did the regular pacing, and I still got the Animals in the Great Outdoor book, but we're just reading that throughout the summer, just as summer reading. So we have Fun with Pets, and pretty much you'll see the progression as they start, like as they get through the reading program. So you see these are like shorter stories. The words are smaller. So you just have, and a lot of repetition. Bob fed the dog, Bob fed the hen, Bob fed the pig, Bob is big, Bob will kiss mom. Pretty simple for the child to get through. Then you have Tiptoes. So here you get a little bit more words. Stories are a little longer. And again, these stories, it correlates to what they're learning in phonics and language. So if they start learning more about long vowel sounds and things like that, or like a particular special sound, clearly they're learning the BL special sound. So you'll see them use more of that. And then there's activities throughout the book as well, just to reinforce what they're learning. Then we have Stepping Stones. So again, stories are a little longer, and there's always questions to the end, which I really, really like, because I personally feel like reading comprehension is something my daughter struggles with. Like, she can read and she'll read through the book, but ask her what happens afterwards and she's just like, I don't remember. And I'm like, you just read it like 5 minutes ago. Here we have Secrets and Surprises. Now you can see the stories are looking more like longer stories. And they do not have them read the story in one setting. They'll break it up into certain amounts a day, certain pages. So that's Secrets and Surprises. Here we have Kind and Brave. And without having to constantly repeat myself, as you can see, stories are getting a bit longer in length. The words are getting longer as well. Aesop's Fables. I really love these in particular because it starts to teach the different character teams. So my daughter, this was one of her favorites because when she read it, she's like, oh, what do these stories mean? And we were able to kind of get into a deeper conversation and start talking about the different character teams. So I actually really, really like this one. And I believe like Strong and True was set up the same way. Let me see. I don't want to lie to you guys. Yep, it is. Here's the characters and teams too. So same thing. Just different character traits. And at this point, they're pretty much reading like what would be in a chapter book. All right. And then last but not least, Down by the Sea. So this actually, I like to call this a chapter book because it has all the same characters from the first story. They pretty much just add on, like the next story is just another part of what happened with the particular character. So like Kenny's one of the main characters in this story. So every story in here has Kenny in it. And then other different characters that they add on here or there. So it's almost like if they're reading a chapter book. And that is it, my friends. Just for me to actually show you guys, but really and truly look at this. Like from book 1, right? Your child's reading like this. Anne is a black ant. An ant has a hill. It is an ant hill. By the time they're finished with first grade, they're reading this. And I mean, just watching the progression is absolutely beautiful. I love, love, love Abeka's reading program. Even if you don't get any other thing from there, the reading program is so worth it. Anyways, guys, I knew this video was going to be long because there was a lot of content to get through. But I really hope that... this was helpful for you guys. And yeah, that's it. I will be showing you the grade 1 parent kit in the next video. All right, bye for now.